This is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and I've got your Week 2 waiver wire video to help you guys get set up and ready for the Week 2 coming up soon. So, first thing I want to talk about is Week 1 was a little weird, right? We've got some things that are a little bit different than we expected, like, say, an Aaron Rodgers playing as poorly as he did, but then you got a Jameis Winston who looked amazing as far as his 5 touchdowns go. So there's a lot of different things going on. Week 1 really kind of tells you what could possibly happen this season. Now, with that said, do not overreact, okay? There's a lot of people kind of freaking out. We've got a lot of stuff going on Twitter. People are asking us questions. Look, Week 1, things do kind of show up, but Week 1 also doesn't determine how the season is going to go. So, with that said, though, there are some good players that you could possibly pick up off of waivers that will help your team out. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell. That way you guys are notified every time we drop a video just like this. And that way you guys are prepared. If you guys do have questions, feel free to hit us up in the comments down below or follow us on our socials. We are on Twitter and Instagram. You guys always hit us up in the DMs there. Ask away any questions you have, whether it be a waiver wire pick or trades or something like that, right? So we've got some good stuff there. Now, we do have one more game tonight, obviously, so this is going to be really about what's available, what's happened in Week 1 so far, minus the Monday night game. So the first players I want to talk about, we're going to do this by position, is going to be quarterback. These are some guys that I recommend as far as waivers go. So the first guy I've got is going to be Jameis Winston. Not a shocker. Not saying he's going to be lights out all season, but he is something that somebody you might want to consider picking up, maybe as a depth. Maybe if you're super flex, something like that, because he did do amazing work against the look, the Packers defense is typically better than what they performed yesterday, so that's going to be a little different. The Saints played the Panthers this week. He's available in about 57% of most leagues. He did finish with 5 touchdowns, not a lot of passing yards, but he did finish 5 touchdowns, so that does count for something. The next guy I have on waivers is going to be Jared Goff. Jared Goff did actually an amazing job against the 49ers. A lot of people were kind of surprised, even myself included. I wasn't sure how he was going to perform with the lackluster weapons that he has, but those 2 backs behind him did an amazing job. Hawkinson did an amazing job, so I do apologize for having him as a sit. I really expected the 49ers to actually do an amazing job at stopping the Detroit Lions, but Jared Goff came through. Jared Goff's next game is going to be the Packers, so the Packers obviously we're hoping is a better defensive team, but they struggled against the Saints, and I do expect Goff to have a little bit better game. He's available about 93% of most leagues. He finished with 338 yards and 3 touchdowns, so he did a really great job. I do like him into this coming week against the Packers, but again, these are guys you might want to pick up as a super flex or backup or maybe possible starter depending on who you have. The next I want to talk about is going to be the running back position. Running backs aren't as many off the waivers. A little bit tougher to, unless you talk about Eli Mitchell, which we'll talk about a little bit how that San Francisco game played out. But the first guy I have is going to be Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram, look, there was a lot of uncertainty of what's going to happen with the Texans. They had 3 running backs they could possibly go with, and they really talked about, a running back committee. But if you looked at it, Mark Ingram had 26 rushing attempts, 85 rushing yards and a touchdown. Mark Ingram was the lead back. David Johnson was nowhere to be found. He did have a touchdown. Lindsey had a touchdown. Lindsey had a little bit more touches than David Johnson. So if you really look at what happened, again, this is based off of first week's results, Mark Ingram is the guy for the Texans. Might be worth a pickup, okay? They're playing the Browns next week. Browns did a great job of keeping Clyde, Edwards-Helaire kind of under, performing. But I do like Mark Ingram as far as the bell cow. It is going to be a different type of game. I do not expect them to repeat what they did this past weekend. But he is available in 81% of leagues. So if you do need it back or maybe some depth, Mark Ingram is a good one. Next guy is Jamal Williams. Now, Jamal Williams, look, I do like Jamal Williams. I talked him up in a lot of the mock drafts as a good late-round pickup. Swift is their guy, but Swift obviously still dealing with a groin injury. Jamal Williams had 9 rushes for 54 yards, so he's really efficient. He did catch a lot of balls. He had 8 receptions and 56 yards, so he was very effective in the PPR. And I expect the same thing this week, right? He's available about 25% of his league, so he's not available in a lot, but if he is available in your league, absolutely go after him. Now, the next spot I'm going to talk about is wide receivers. Now, there are a lot of wide receivers you can go after, so I'm going to go a little bit quicker on this one, but there are some good wide receivers that you can go. The first guy is going to be Nelson Aguilar. Look, Aguilar did really well last season with the Raiders, and I think a lot of people were unsure what to do with him, as far as the Patriots and obviously with the whole quarterback situation, what's going to happen with that. Mac Jones actually looked really good. Aguilar did really well. He had 5 receptions and 72 yards and a touchdown. He's going against the Jets this upcoming week. He's available about 68% of the league. So with that said, the Jets are not a great defensive team. I expect Aguilar to actually, again, be the number 1 receiver. I like him a lot. He might be a good sleeper coming up. Next guy I have is KJ Hamler. This could also be Tim Patrick, but I picked Hamler with the upside. He's available in about 98% of leagues, and a lot of this has to do with obviously Jerry Jeudy being out. If Jeudy was not out, Hamler's not somebody you want to pick up. He again might be somebody you might pick up if you have Jeudy in your lineup. He's a good fill-in for the injury. He's available in about 98% of most leagues. If he had caught that deep down touchdown, he actually would have finished off really well in fantasy. He did have that drop, which unfortunately did not happen. So next guy I have is Sterling Shepard. Look, the Giants receiver did amazing work. He had 7 receptions, 113 yards and a touchdown. He did a great job. He's going against Washington, which Washington is a pretty good defensive team, so it's going to be a little bit different for him, but I do like him as the number 1 receiver. He's available in about 61% of most leagues, so I do expect him to be available for you guys. I like Shepard a lot, even if he's just your flex. Maybe not a wide receiver 2 quite yet, but as a flex option, he's a good pickup. Next guy has Marvin Jones Jr. Marvin Jones Jr. finished with 5 receptions, 77 yards and a touchdown. They actually looked really good. Trevor Lawrence started to pick up a little bit towards the end of the game. You saw Jones Jr. do well. Shenault didn't do as great. He did get a lot of targets, though. And then obviously DJ Chark actually had a good game as well. So those receivers, it's going to definitely be a passing game. Robinson was really nowhere to be found as far as a rushing attempt and attacking game. It looked like they're really kind of putting the blunt of it on Trevor Lawrence. Marvin Jones is available in about 39% of most leagues, so if you can, grab him. Next guy I have is Zach Pascal. Pascal, look, he's not the number 1 receiver, but he is somebody that he was targeted quite a bit for Wentz. Wentz liked him a lot. He had 2 touchdowns in the red zone, so it's not going to be every common thing, but he is available in about 99% of the league, so he might be somebody you might pick up if you happen to have maybe Paris Campbell, or maybe you just need some depth there. I like Pascal a lot. Then the last guy for the wide receiver spot I have is Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk, I actually liked going into the season. A lot of people weren't sure what they were going to do with him because obviously AJ Green's there, and Green did get some passes, but Kirk ended up being really the guy. And with that offense being so potent and powerful, they really trust Murray throwing the ball a lot. Kirk had 5 receptions, 70 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He's available in about 87% of most leagues, and they're going against the Vikings this week. He is an absolute stud going into this, going as a flex option for you guys. Now, the last spot I'm going to talk about is going to be the tight end spot. Again, not as many players on the waivers. A lot of those tight ends are really thin, but these are some guys I want to talk about. First guy I have is Jared Cook. Look, he finished with 5 receptions and 56 yards for the Chargers. 74% available. This guy is available in most leagues. He's going against the Cowboys, and if you saw with the Cowboys on Thursday night, they gave up a lot of points to Gronkowski. They are very weak at tight end. Micah Parsons, unfortunately, is still learning. He's very, very, very raw. Got a lot of talent, but he kind of jumps, the run. So if they do anything like they did, I think Jared Goff's going to have a good one. Next guy I have is James O'Shaughnessy. Look, I'm not really sure how I feel about this tight end, but I do like what was given to him. He's got a lot of targets. He's somebody that if you do need a tight end to get some targets, he finished with 6 receptions and 48 yards. Good for about 10 points in PPR. They do go against the Broncos, who are a little bit better defense, but again, somebody might want to pick up or if you need to fill in. Last guy is Juwan Johnson. Now, in most leagues, he's actually treated as a tight end, but he's also a tight end receiver depending on what league you play in, whether it be Yahoo or ESPN or something like that. He's available at 90% of targets. He's definitely the red zone target for Jameis. And he had 3 receptions, 21 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Is very touchdown dependent, but if they start going down the field, he's somebody that you might want to pick up. Again, great tight end position there. So they're going against the Panthers, who did not play well defensively. I like him a lot. Now, these again are some waivers that I think will be some good pickups. Maybe you had some injuries, maybe your players didn't pan out quite, or again, just looking based off of matchups. I think these guys are some players that I would go after. I know a couple of them that I like, that I personally went after in my own league just to get some depth for me. So again, if you guys like this video, make sure you hit that like button. Hopefully this stuff was informative. Hopefully it helped you guys out. Make sure you guys go after these guys as quickly as you can. If you guys do have questions of who you should pick up or maybe who you should drop, hit us in the comments or hit us in our DMs in Twitter or Instagram. That way we can help answer those questions. And of course, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Hit the notification bell. That way you guys are notified, especially when we start dropping our start and sit videos for week 2. and I look forward to seeing you guys next time.